If you are a Nintendo fan, you've probably heard of this trend. It is called Luigi wins by doing nothing. If you don't know, basically someone would play a Mario Party minigame and do nothing as Luigi. With tons of luck, they win the minigame. Now I'm also a Cuphead fan, and I wanted to get Mugman to do nothing for the entire challenge, and that is how Mugman became my worst enemy on this challenge. In other words, it's impossible to beat Cuphead. Don't deal with the devil while Mugman is doing nothing. Let's find out.
Beow! Beow!
There are so many rules. I will be playing on my 300% save file so that it's actually possible. I'm allowed to use DLC items such as Chalice, Divine Relic, Crackshot, obviously, etc. Mugman can't do anything for every fight. This includes walking, jumping, shooting, dashing, etc. The only thing Mugman can do is spawning. I must protect Mugman at all costs. If Mugman dies and goes above the screen, I have to restart the fight. I'm allowed to use any glitches or exploits if necessary. And I'm allowed to give Mugman a charm like Twin Heart. Now with the rules out of the way, let's get started. Our first boss on this challenge is the easiest, obviously enough. South Sputter became mashed potatoes in no time at all. Only Bulb, however, you just need to avoid the tears and save Mugman, and you both will be swell! How do I pronounce his name? I'm just gonna call him Carrot Dude. Carrot Dude uses carrots to attack you and Mugman, and Carrot Dude also tries to shoot lasers at both of you. And they always come in a pattern, so be mindful about that. In other words, I got a knockout first try. Next stop, Goopy Longrande. Immediately there's a problem. Goopy is jumping on this side of the screen to this side of the screen, and Mugman will always be in the left side of the screen. But Goopy does not stay in the same spot for long, unless if Goopy's doing his attack, but it's still pretty short. Phase 1 is really easy, but Phase 2 is where things get spicy. It is the exact same thing as Phase 1, except Goopy is now Thick Goopy. Because Goopy is bigger, he can damage Mugman pretty easily. But after Phase 2, Goopy just dies and goes to Phase 3, being the easiest phase in the fight. Just make sure you save Mugman and you'll be good. Next boss is the very first plain boss of this challenge, with Helderberg. The problem with plane fights is that, unlike ground bosses, Mugman is in a plane, and instead of gravity pulling Mugman down, because Mugman is in a plane, he stays there. So, now I have to get really close to Mugman when he dies, and I have to time my parries well, or else Mugman goes up, and I have to retry the fight. Helderberg is just mean. Her second phase has her turning into a sky bowl and damaging Mugman. There are those stupid blimps that fire projectiles at poor Mugman. In Helderberg's third phase, she fires a tornado. And if that wasn't bad enough, I have to risk a hit just for Mugman. And if that wasn't bad enough, I had to get lucky in the fourth phase. I had to literally just get lucky to get the sisters, because it's easy to dodge, and the Cupid stars circle around Mugman, and that is the reason of his death. The final phase is just irritating. Hilda turns into a moon and shoots stars, UFOs, at you and Mugman. I mostly used the Divine Relic for this boss, but then I went to the map only to realize that you can spin in circles. On the map, we get the true hero of this challenge, Jimmy the Great. He gives you double HP, and with the twin heart, Mugman has 9 HP. So thank you, Jimmy. I used Chalice this time. I beat Hildeberg while slowly losing my sanity. That felt satisfying. Next boss is Cagney Carnation. Now Cagney was more relaxing than Hildeberg. Phase 1 has a lot of things going on screen, but the fight is pretty simple as long as you're near Mugman, but the final phase is where things get a tiny bit weird. If Mugman has the twin heart charm, he will go away from the platforms. So if you remove twin heart and you don't have Jimmy the Great's wish, the fight will be a tad bit easier overall, but Cagney was a pretty easy fight. The final boss of Inkwell Isle One is challenging in a good way. Phase 1 is easy. You have to have Jimmy the Great's wish, and Mugman has the twin heart. And you rarely need to parry Mugman in Phase 1. Phase 2 is where things get spicy. Croaks turns into a fan while Mugman goes to the hitbox for Ribby. What I did for Cuphead was I used the Divine Relic and I had parried Ribby with Whetstone and then parried Mugman, but that does not always go well. I would sometimes miss Mugman, or while I was using the invincibility, I would hit Ribby, not Mugman. So instead I used Miss Chalice. With Chalice's double jump and dash parry, I was able to get over Ribby and to Mugman. Phase 3 was a bit tricky. The slot machine, its coins go into a pattern like the root pack carrot dude shooting lasers at you and Mugman. It can hurt Mugman, but the best one is to get the bowl because the laser disc things go up or down, and when it is up, Mugman has a less chance of dying. In other words, I beat Ribby and Croaks. Before we go to Inkwell 2, if you hit the lock button and switch weapon button at the same time while in front of a mausoleum, you can then re-enter the stage. All the mausoleums are way too easy, as Mugman can't die, and all I have to really do is just parry the ghosts. So all the mausoleums are possible. Our first fight in Inkwell Isle 2 is Baroness Von Bonbon. Funny name. The Baroness is just random. The first, second, and third phase all have randomized sweets. And the first 3 phases went more like this. Candy corn is annoying. I hate muffin. Waffle is easy. Gumball machine hates Mugman. And Jawbreaker makes me break my jaw. Yeah. All I had to do was just protect Mugman and kill the minions. But the 4th phase is where things get most interesting. The Candy Castle is moving towards Mugman, and now Mugman is taking damage. But after a bit, the Baroness was defeated. Next up is Beppy the Clown. Phase 1 is not too hard. All Beppy does is go to the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen. Sure, since Mugman is on the left side of the screen, it must be a bad thing, right? But not exactly. Mugman has more health than he would in the other phases, and phase 1 is done for. Phase 2, on the other hand, you just kill Balloon and save Mugman, dodge balloons, all that crap. Phase 3 is the one sprinkled with luck. Beppy goes on the merry-go-round horses, goes to the left or the right. If he's on the left side of the screen and the roller coaster is coming, it's a severely bad thing because I had to damage boost to get Mugman back. But overall, phase 3 was so easy. Phase 4 is the most interesting phase out of all of them. So, to begin with, Mugman dies to the roller coaster over and over again. And when he dies and I parry him, chances are he lands on one of those, whatever those platforms are, and he goes to the right side of the screen. And when he gets hit by the roller coaster and parried, he goes back to the left side. So, Mugman, I really have to keep track of Mugman, which is kind of difficult, but just get used to it. Kill Beppy. Fight done. Next boss is a plain boss. Jimmy can get irritating even using his wishes against him. Phase 1 is random, swords, treasure, cats. I just try to shoot Jimmy down as fast as possible. Phase 2 just sucks. Jimmy turns into a wall, and I have to save Mugman and take a hit. So, using the same strategy in Helderberg, I just stay close to him. Phase 3 is usually the shortest phase in the fight, but because this is 2-player mode, and Mugman is there, that means that every single boss in the game has more health. Phase 3 consists of Jimmy shooting the player with planet eyes while mummies are coming out from the coffin. Phase 4 has my boy, Cuphead, or as I like to call him, Puphead. Cuphead really loves shooting and killing down Mugman, but when Jimmy's hat goes to Mugman, it can easily kill him, so be careful. The final phase just sucks. There are pyramids that shoot lasers at you, and Jimmy shoots lasers from his eye, and Mugman always dies, no matter what. And at this rate, I have 1 HP, so I can't do the same method as Helderberg. So, yeah. We'll come back to this fight. Guess what? Another roadblocker! This time, I'm not driving a plane, but rather, the entire fight takes place in the sky, and I have to platform on clouds, and Mugman won't stop taking pit damage, and Mugman will always die. Phase 1, oh boy, has you dodging everything Grim throws at you, like lasers, fireballs, his tail. And if that is not bad enough, Phase 2 is where Grim has pulled a card up his sleeve. He went to the left side of the screen, and this is where he is for the rest of the fight. Because Mugman is on the left side of the screen and the clouds aren't going right, he has to take damage. So I have to double jump, then dash parry Mugman, then jump again and dash. And there are little fire people coming out of Grim's mouth. The final phase is the worst part about this fight. If the original one isn't bad enough, this one, I hate it! because one of Grimm's heads shoot fire at you, or the middle one shoots a flamethrower at you while I'm trying to save Mugman. And do you know what? I also give up on this fight. I just can't find a way yet. Anyways. When I first entered the fight doing this challenge, I thought Wally Warbles was going to be another roadblocker, but the fight went better than the last two fights. Phase 1, Wally shoots the eggs and bullets. The good thing about the eggs is that you can dodge them if you're on the very left of the screen. Then, good news, this applies with Mugman. Eventually, Wally gets mad and shoots feathers at you and Mugman. But because Mugman has more health, it is a breeze to pass. The next phase is Willy Warbles, not Wally Warbles Jr., if you don't really know the name. Goes and shoots lasers that you can parry, and he was a breeze. The final phase is just easy, because I have room to dodge and save Mugman. So, easy fight! Next boss is Rumor Honeybottoms. Like Wally Warbles, I thought this is yet another roadblocker, because like Grimm, the platforms were moving, but instead of moving left, they moved down. And at first, it was scary to hear about. Phase 1, Rumor sends a bee cop, and the bee cop tries to shoot you and Mugman with a bomb. Just dodge the bomb and the worker bee, save Mugman, and then the cop will be defeated. Phase 2 was scary. Rumor would appear on the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen. Rumor also tries to shoot you and Mugman using a pink object, like the sphere and triangle. Just avoid it, save Mugman, but it's easier said than done. Phase 3 was scary. Rumor would turn into a plane, use a saw, shoot hands, but all you have to do is just dodge the hands and the saw, save Mugman, and you will eventually defeat her. Next boss has my boy, Captain Brinybeard. Brinybeard tries to shoot a squid at you and Mugman, and there is a hammer that goes and hits Mugman head first, and it is pretty scary at first, but just kill the enemies and save Mugman, and soon Brinybeard's ship will start shooting cannonballs at you and Mugman. But do not worry, just avoid the attack, save Mugman, avoid the hammer, attack Brinybeard, you'll get to the next phase. The final phase has Brinybeard's ship kick Brinybeard off, or as we call it, throw them overboard! Okay, that was a terrible accent. Anyways, he's the hammer, and the boat will try to attack you and Mugman. Just save Mugman, avoid the hammer, and attack the boat, and this fight will be done! Next stop to Sally's stage play, and this fight is pretty fun. Phase 1 has Sally jump all over the place. Sometimes she would shoot a fan out to Mugman that damages him. Phase 2 is just Phase 1, except Sally has 2 different attacks. Phase 3 is way too easy because the only thing that can hurt Mugman is the lightning and the wave. Just dodge roll the lightning and the wave and save Mugman, and you will go to the next phase. The final phase is pretty scary, but jump over the umbrella and double jump to save Mugman, and this fight, it's over. Next boss is Werner Werman, and this one took a lot of thinking. So because Mugman has Jimmy's wish, and the twin heart, he will always go to the very left of the screen. But that is not a bad thing in Phase 1, but you'll see why it's a problem. Phase 1 has Warner shoot his stuff like cherry bombs, trampolines, and gum. He can also go to the left side of the screen at times, but that's not the problem. Phase 2 has Warner blow up his tank, and shoot fire from up and down. And bottle caps appear on both the left and right side of the screen. And that is a problem because it's hard to keep track of Mugman and Warner Worman's attacks. So, you want to know what I did? I got to the point where it was so hard to the point where I replayed the game until I got the cursed relic and made it back to Warner Worman. But that wasn't really a good idea because Mugman had only 1 health, and then I realized I wasted my 1 hour doing nothing. So, I swapped player 1 with player 2, and you might be asking, how does that help? Well, because player 1 spawns not so far to the left side of the screen, that means I can remove Twin Heart and Mugman will not be too far from the bottle caps. But it's easy to keep track of him. Now, the final phase is just hard. It's easy and hard because I don't like replaying Phase 2. Phase 3 is easy. If the cat swipes its paw from left to right of the screen, just dodge, save Mugman, easy fight. Oh crap. If you fought Dr. Call's robot before, you will know why this boss will suck. And believe me, I was super unmotivated to do this fight because I knew this one is gonna be the hardest boss in the game. Phase 1 just sucks. You have to worry about a lot of things on screen like homing bombs, magnet missiles, pink lasers, hand obstacles, and that stupid laser antenna, nuts and bolts, and there's a lot of things in this fight. And pairing that up with saving Mugman and being very close to him, you get a ridiculous boss fight. If player 2 is lucky enough, you'll get to Phase 2. The homing bombs from Phase 1 will return and mostly home on Mugman, killing him. So at this point, I am not doing him until I find the way. So we'll come back to this fight. Another plane fight? I'm getting sick of this! I thought Cala Maria would be easier, but she was harder than anticipated. Phase 1 has a lot of stuff going on, like Cala would use a fish and her sea friends against you and Mugman. The worst one to get was the seahorse because he pushes Mugman all the way up in the map, and we do not want that. So no matter what I do, Mugman keeps dying and dying and dying. Yeah, we'll come back to this fight. The final boss of Inkwell Isle 3. It's pretty simple, to be honest. Phase 1 has Blind Spectre shoot his eyeballs at you and Mugman. Just use Converge on Blind Spectre's eyes, and he will not even take much damage from Mugman. Phase 2, the Conductor Skeleton just uses his hands to attack. Just parry the car, and Mugman will not die easily. Phase 3 is just pretty simple as well. Just move the cart, avoid the lollipop goals, and they will be defeated. The final phase is pretty simple. Avoid the bone wheel and shoot the train heart and save Mugman, and this fight, it's over. The first, but second to last boss of Inkwell Hell is stupidly long. You have to roll the pink dice, and my picks for the best 3 mini-bosses to fight are Mr. Wheezy, Pippin Dot, and Mango Steam. In these 3 fights, do these very 3 things. Save Mugman, avoid the attacks, and shoot the boss. And all 3 of them will be done for. But when I get to King Dice, I always die and can't save Mugman, so we'll return to this fight. Here we are. The final boss of this game is here. Phase 1 has the devil throwing everything he has to destroy you, like his minions, demon dart magic, and his spider head. What? After a bit, we move on to the next phase. Wait a minute! Mugman can't move, and the flames are not pushing him into the hole. Oh no. Yeah, this is super bad. Well, I guess this is it. We're done. Or are we? You thought I was giving up on this challenge? Well, guess what? I have figured out a way to beat all the bosses I said I would come back to. And that is the one thing that single-handedly saved this very challenge. Remember Dr. Cole's robot where I did this? And I said I would tell you what this trick was. I call this trick the Remove Player 2 trick. So basically, you can remove Player 2 and teleport Player 2 to Player 1. Not only that, but Mugman has infinity lives. And I know what you're thinking, but Zev, wait a minute! What did I say in the rules? I'm allowed to use any glitches or exploits. That's right! So to make this new exploit more nerfed, I added some rules so it's not too easy. I will only get to do this trick 3 times, not throughout the run, but per boss. If Mugman dies and goes above the screen, I still have to retry the fight. I have 10 seconds to spawn in Mugman, and I've been counting like 1, 2, 3, 4. So it might be inaccurate, but it's the best I got. So now, let's go get our revenge on all those bosses that I said we're coming back to. During the Cuphead phase, I teleported Mugman to the bottom of the screen. And in the final phase, I teleported Mugman near Jimmy so I can damage him. So now, Jimmy's done for. In Grim Matchstick's final phase, I teleported Mugman to the very far right of the screen, and that helped a lot, so Grim got obliterated. Back to the robot, I teleported Mugman to the bottom of the screen in phase 2. Then after that, I got to the next phase. The final phase of Dr. Cole's robot is stupid difficult. You have to avoid a laser wall thing while dodging the crystals that Dr. Cole's throwing at you. But after forever, I got Dr. Cole my revenge. In phase 2 of Cal Maria, I turned Mugman to the very bottom of the screen. And in phase 2, Cal turns into a Medusa and can freeze you in Mugman. And her electric eel friends shoot lightning at both of you. So just avoid, attack, and save Mugman. The final phase is weird. You have to avoid the coral, spikes, and skulls, save Mugman, obviously, and Calamaria will be defeated. In King Dice's fight, I teleported Mugman to the very far left of the screen, and sometimes King Dice will not hurt Mugman, so you can use Converge to damage King Dice, and he will soon be defeated. Now, we are back to the devil. In the devil's second phase, you have to remove Mugman and go into the middle hole and then go to the middle platform as soon as possible. It will be the only remaining platform in the final phase. The second phase has the devil becoming a giant and trying to destroy both you and Mugman. I mostly use Converge on his eyes, and that really damages him. Phase 3 has the devil use the henchmen to attack you and Mugman and his blue demons. Never mind. The final phase is just heart pounding. You have to avoid a poker chip, save Mugman, avoid the tears, and then the final boss will be defeated. Now with every Cuphead boss in the original game defeated, it is now time for the answer. Can you beat Cuphead? Don't deal with the devil while Mugman is doing nothing. Yes! And it is thanks to Remove Player 2 tricks. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. It took me a long time to make this video, gameplay wise and editing wise. If you want to see the proof, there's a video in the end cards for all the bosses. But anyways, thanks so much for clicking on this video. And I will do the DLC pretty soon. And I will see you guys later. Have a nice day. Da da da